Oh, hey! Thanks for coming back for another video. Today we're going to do an actual Reddit read. I don't have a lot of time today, but I figure we can get in at least one good story, we can hope that it's good. So, without further ado, today's story comes from the RPG Horror Stories subreddit from user Slowinage. I hope I'm saying that right. But it's entitled, Druid is asked to give up one of his 6 magic items and throws a temper tantrum. Oh boy. That's, whole ass adult, huh? Temper tantrum. So, this is pretty mild compared to most of the stuff on here, but super frustrating nonetheless. The campaign and character classes, they don't really matter that much. Basically, me and my adventuring party of 5 were fleeing a crumbling temple before we had gotten a chance to properly loot the place. Some monsters were chasing us, so we were still in our initiative order. On our way towards the exit, we happened to pass through a large room filled with loot. All of us wanted to grab some stuff, but the first 3 members of the party decided to use their turns running through the room and spending an action on something else. Something else? What is more important than looting? Loot. Precious, precious loot. What action? Maybe they were casting at the monsters behind them? I don't know, it just seems a little I would spend my actions looting. Yeah. I can't would not be helpful or useful to anyone else. Just gotta loot. Come to my turn. I have my paladin use his movement to run to the other end of the loot chamber, and then I decide to spend my action casting Detect Magic. 3 items in the room register as magical, and since I don't have the movement or action left, I call out to our 5th party member, the Druid, and point to where the things are and tell him to grab them on his way out. His turn, he does just that. Boom! Success. We're all excited. Up to this point in the game, we haven't really had any magical items at all. Or so we thought. More on that later. So this was a really big deal for us. Well, we get to wherever we decided to set up our camp, and the druid asks if he can start attuning to the 3 items to learn what they do. Oh no. Buddy, that's not how that works. And honestly, it's pretty selfish. We already knew this was going to be selfish, but damn. Our DM, bless him, is clearly trying to encourage him to spread the items out amongst the group. So he tells him that, no, he can only attune to 1 per rest. And then he asks the druid if he would like to give 2 to other people so that they can learn what they all do. Druid just goes, nope. I want to keep them for myself and find out what they do first. The rest of us, including the DM, are silent. All of our characters are right there, watching him start to attune to this magic sword. Hold up. It's a magic sword? Bruh, you're a druid. What do you need do you even have sword proficiency? The greed knows no ends. Anyway, the rest of us, including the DM, are silent. All of our characters are right there, watching him start to attune to this magic sword, and my character especially knows that there are at least 2 other objects. So, in character, I ask him if I can see one of the other items to find out what it does. Again, he just goes, nope. Of course he does. Now, usually, I try not to do anything even remotely PvP, but no one was saying anything, and honestly, I was super annoyed that we wouldn't even have these items if I hadn't wasted my turn casting Detect Magic and trying to work as a team. And now he's really turning around and trying to keep them all for himself? So I asked the DM if I can make some kind of contested check to try to grab the sword out of the druid's hands. But as soon as I say this, the druid has a total meltdown. He's literally almost 30. He's about 6-ish years older than the rest of us. And he starts throwing a full-on temper tantrum. He starts shouting over the DM at me. Shut up, out of character name. Shut up. They're mine. You can't do that. That kind of thing for like a minute. Oh my god. Oh, I don't know whether to laugh, cry, or be mad about it. Oh man, that's really pathetic. Like, I want to try and see both sides of things. I always do try, but bruh, that's pathetic. Oh man. Anyway, finally, the DM gets a word in and agrees with me and says that I can make the check. I mean, yeah, there's no reason not to other than his temper tantrum. He's clearly on my side, but as fate would have it, I failed the roll. Oh no. Oh, that's unfortunate. So, the druid kept all 3 items, learned what they did, and then never shared them with the group, forgot all about them, and literally never used them a single time. Oh no. Oh no. I don't even know what the other 2 items were at this point, but I at least knew he got a dope sword, and he doesn't even use swords, and he never gave it to anyone else. Oh no. I know I'm just saying oh no a lot, but like, come on man. Magic items, especially when you're not really getting them, that's big. That's a really big deal. Why wouldn't you... Anyway. After the game, the DM and I talked, and he was feeling the exact same way as me. We had just never had this kind of situation before, and he didn't know what to do, which is fair. After the game, the DM and I talked, and he was feeling the exact same way as me. We just had never had a situation like this before, and he didn't know what to do. Which is fair. But here's the kicker. Remember when I said we hadn't received any magic items in the game up to this point? The DM reminded me that that's not true. We had 3 other magical items. The druid just took all of them and then forgot about them. One was a Lantern of Revealing, one was some kind of shape-shifting necklace, and one was a Ring of the Ram that the druid was allowed to start the game with, and he hasn't used it? Are you kidding me? Buddy, you've got all this, he's just hoarding magic items. Does he want to roleplay a dragon? Is that cause you can do that without screwing up a whole game and being selfish. I mean, dragons are a little selfish. No diss to any dragons. I love dragons. Dragons are the coolest. But maybe not selfish. Greedy? No, that sounds bad too. I'm sorry, don't come for me. Anyway. So yeah, for a while we had 5 players, 6 magic items, and every single one was in the hands of one player. And the only one he ever used was the Ring of Ram. It's been several months since this, and the DM has definitely balanced things out. But every so often, we encounter something that looks even remotely valuable, and the druid jumps at it before the DM even finishes speaking. Thankfully, at this point, the entire party is prepared enough to shut him down together and tell him that he needs to share. Man, that sucks. I'm glad things ended up working out, though. I mean, it sucks that they went through that, but it could have been worse. They could still be stuck with a greedy PC who's just hoarding everything and a DM who isn't putting their foot down. I mean, that happens way more often than you'd expect. So out of curiosity, I ended up digging a little down into the comments, and I found another post from OP talking more about this greedy nightmare player. And so, This is only the tip of the iceberg with this particular player. The other 5 of us, including the DM, seem to want a more serious game, while the druid tends to just get too drunk and sometimes literally fall asleep during the game. We play on Discord. When he wakes back up, he obviously has no idea what's going on, you know, because he was sleeping. And he gets bored and seems to look for the most chaotic thing to do, even though it often has nothing to do with what the rest of us are doing. It's really annoying. Not very serious, but definitely kind of disrespectful. I don't know. I think that's super seriously disrespectful and annoying, right? Like, you're disrupting the game. You're falling asleep. You're drinking too much, so, like, you're probably acting like a fool. There's more. But wait, there's more.
But wait! There's more!
He also has a tendency to talk over the DM and force his point even if the DM is trying to move on. And it's not unlike him to try to guilt or pressure the DM into letting him do something or level us up or whatever. I'm a DM for another group, so this really gets under my skin. Same as a DM and a player. Like, no. No, not okay. We've been playing for almost 2 years now, so I think the DM feels awkward about kicking him. I try not to say anything because this guy also happens to be my ex, and I don't want to make a scene and have anyone think I'm causing drama because of our past relationship, you know? After we finish this campaign, however, we really want to switch to in-person games. He's the only one that doesn't live nearby anymore, so we'll see how that goes. I like it. Sneaky. But, also, there's nothing wrong with being direct. I mean, I can understand this guy's been with the group for so long, but maybe has anyone tried talking to him about his inappropriate actions? I mean, generally that falls on the DM. That's your responsibility to the party. That's your job to the group, you know? Like, you're there to keep the peace, make sure the rules are followed, narrate the story, push things along, you know, but you're also there to keep the peace and make sure all of your players are happy. And it kind of sounds like they're sacrificing the happiness of the group, maybe not all the time, but to some degree, and at some points they are sacrificing the happiness of the group for one person because he doesn't want to pay attention, or because he wants to act out because he's bored because he wasn't paying attention. Like, all of these issues are his own fault. Absolutely 100%. This all falls on him and the DM. I'm glad that they were able to shut it down to begin with. But, and like, you know, they've made progress. They do get on him and they share items now. So, I mean, I guess that is progress. I guess that is them working on it. But after 2 years, I feel like maybe work on it a little bit more. Because it sounds like everybody's pretty unhappy if you want to be sneaky about getting this guy out of your group. But I'm also of the mindset of screw it. Just do whatever. Like, if somebody's causing problems and they don't want to change, bye-bye. Like, that's how I flow with my life, with my games. Whether I'm a player, a DM, an employee, an employer, doesn't matter. But I guess not everybody feels comfortable doing that. And I guess I can understand that. I wasn't always this way. But I do feel bad, but I'm glad that it was taken care of. So, how do you guys feel about this story? Thoughts, opinions, comments? Throw them all down below.